It started with the phone that wasn't supposed to ring. Not my smartphone on the kitchen counter in apartment 7F. The little beige landline in the hallway that came with the unit. The one I never gave to anyone. It was a Tuesday night in March, 11:47 p.m., rain hitting the windows hard enough to sound like gravel. I just finished a remote shift for the insurance company I work for here in Cleveland, Ohio. I was halfway through microwaving leftover pizza when I heard it. A sharp, old-fashioned ring from the hallway. I stepped out of the kitchen. The landline on the wall by my coat closet blinked a small red light with every chime, as if it had been doing this every night and I'd only just now noticed. I picked it up. Hello. At first there was no voice. Just a soft hiss, like a seashell and a radio station at the same time. Then behind the static, other noises faded in. A TV game show theme. Audience laughter. Someone changing channels too fast. The sound had that flat, boxy quality of a 1990 CRT television. Hello. I said again. The noise swelled. I caught a man's voice in the background saying, "We'll talk when I get back." A cupboard slamming, a woman answering too faintly to understand. Then I heard a slow, steady beep, like a heart monitor somewhere down a hospital corridor. Beep. 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 My skin crawled. I pulled the phone away and finally looked at the tiny gray display. 3 characters glowed on the screen. For B. I hung up so fast the receiver cracked against the base. A door opened across the hall. My neighbor, Mrs. Kowalski from 7E, peered out in a faded Cleveland Guardians t-shirt, house slippers, white hair pulled into a tight bun. "You answered it?" she asked, accent thick, eyes sharp. "You heard that?" I said. "Who has a landline number for me? I've only lived here a few months." She didn't move closer. She stayed in her doorway like the hall itself might shift under her feet. "How many rings?" she asked. "I don't know. For 5. She muttered something in Polish, made the sign of the cross. "Next time let it ring 10, she said. "If it still doesn't stop, then you unplug it." I tried to laugh. "It was probably a glitch," I said. "Caller ID said 4B, but there isn't even a 4B in this building. 4th floor is 4A, 4C, 4D, 4E, 4F. I checked when I moved in. There hasn't been a 4B since 1999, she said quietly. That's when I realized Maple Court Apartments had history nobody put in the brochure. If you're new here, this is Trigger of Madness, where very normal buildings hide very specific nightmares. We tell modern urban legends from places you walk through every day. Lobbies, hallways, elevators, stairwells. Before we open the door of room 4B, ground yourself in your own reality for a second. Comment your city and country below. I want to see how many buildings are listening tonight. And if you're brave enough, watch this to the end, then check the call history on your own phone. I moved into Maple Court in late 2022 after my divorce and after my old landlord in Lakewood sold the duplex out from under me. Maple Court was nothing special. Brick building on Maple Court Avenue, a few blocks from Cleveland State University. Faded off-white paint. Metal fire escape that screams every winter. The glowing sign out front missing the second A, so at night it just says, Maple Court Apartamentis. Exactly the kind of place that's invisible from the street. The leasing agent had warned me the building was a little old-fashioned. By that she meant old boiler, old carpet, an old internal phone system. Every unit still had a landline jack. The Welcome to Maple Court folder explained that the phones were used for the front door buzzer, emergency alerts, and essential management communication. You didn't have to use it for personal calls, but you were supposed to keep it plugged in. So I did, then ignored it. Delivery drivers called my cell. My mother called my cell. Spam called my cell. The wall phone collected dust for 3 quiet months, until that stormy Tuesday night. After Mrs. Kowalski closed her door, I noticed something on the wall I'd never actually read before. A framed sheet of building rules beside the stairwell. Near the bottom, printed in tiny black letters. Do not engage with calls from unlisted internal units. Maple Court management is aware of the issue. No explanation. No example. Just that. The next day I caught Mrs. Kowalski in the laundry room and pushed for answers. "What do you mean there hasn't been a 4B since 1999? I asked. She folded a towel like it personally offended her. "Before you were born," she said. "Wrong, but I let it slide. There was a fire. 4th floor. Apartment 4B. She told me the story like she'd told it many times. In 1999, 4B belonged to a couple, Mark and Jennifer Davis. He worked nights at a print shop off Superior Avenue. She was a nursing student at Cleveland State, always coming and going in green scrubs. On October 3, 1999, a fire started in their kitchen. Depending on who you ask, it was either faulty wiring, a knocked-over candle, or a fight that got out of control. Neighbors heard shouting, glass breaking, someone crying in the hallway. By the time the alarms finally went off, smoke was already pouring under 4B's door. Firefighters dragged 2 bodies out. Mark was found on the kitchen floor. Jennifer was in the hallway, a few feet from the phone jack, one hand outstretched toward the melted landline. The building lived, Mrs. Kowalski said. But 4B did not. They bricked it up. No more 4B. Buildings don't just delete a unit, I said. There should be paperwork. A gap on the floor plan. She shrugged. New plans. New paint. New numbers. But the network, she pointed upward toward the ceiling, the walls, the miles of cable I couldn't see. The network remembers the old layout. A ghost call, I said, trying to make it sound ridiculous. That's what the kids on Reddit call it, she said dryly. Here we call it a problem management pretends is fixed. She stepped closer. If you see 4B on that screen again, she said, you let it ring. You don't pick up. You don't listen to any messages all the way through. And you never ever call it back. For a little while, I actually obeyed. Weeks went by and the landline stayed silent. Spring crept in over Lake Erie. Work got busier. My boss in Chicago loaded me up with more claims to process. Then came April 7th, 2:13 a.m. I woke to a sound I hadn't heard since the storm, that old-fashioned ring cutting through the apartment. I checked my cell on the nightstand. Dark. The noise was coming from the hallway. The landline flashed its tiny red light, filling the space with short bursts of color. I watched it ring. 6 times. 7. 8. 9. On the 10th ring the sound stopped. So did the hallway light. The darkness was total for 1 heartbeat, 2, 3. Just the afterimage of that blinking red light burned into my eyes, before the motion sensor flickered and the light hummed back on. The phone screen read. 1 new message. Just an envelope icon, patiently waiting. I should have gone back to bed. Instead, I picked up the receiver and hit play. Static first. Close, like someone breathing against a microphone in a small room. Then a man's voice. Jen, pick up. Come on. I'm downstairs. He sounded young. Nervous, trying to pretend he wasn't. I brought the tape, he said. The finale's tonight, remember? Don't be mad, okay? We'll watch it together. Just pick up. Behind his words, I heard TV audio, the same 90s laugh track I'd glimpsed before. A woman answered him, too far from the phone to make out her words. A cupboard slammed. Don't start, he said quickly. We'll talk when I get up there. I'll knock. Okay. Just. The message cut off. A flat, robotic voice took over. Message received. October 3rd, 1999, 11:21 p.m. The line went dead. Our building's phone system was upgraded in 2010. There should not be any surviving messages from 1999 in it. I replayed it 3 times, hoping for some obvious glitch in the audio. The voice was always the same rich, living sound that doesn't belong to a quarter-century-old recording. From the floor below, I heard a toilet flush in 6F. Above me, someone's footsteps crossed their bedroom. Normal building noises. But threaded through them, faint as a memory, was something else. The high chirp of a smoke alarm, not in my apartment, not on my floor. Somewhere in the walls, my phone system was connected to a night that should have ended with a disconnected line. The next morning, I went straight to the leasing office. Carl Henderson, the building manager, sat behind his desk with a Cleveland Browns mug, eyes on his computer. My landline got a call from 4B last night, I said. His fingers froze above the keyboard for half a second. Then he finished his keystroke like nothing had changed. There is no 4B, Mr. Reyes, he said. You must have misread. I stared at him. The display said 4B, I said. And the system told me the message was recorded in 1999. Do you really expect me to believe a digital system is pulling dates out of a hat? He sighed through his nose, the way people do when they've practiced a speech too many times. Sometimes old data gets tangled with new when we move between platforms, he said. You can get artifacts, stray timestamps. Artifacts that know your former tenants' names? I asked. He called her Jen. He mentioned the finale. It sounded like he was in the hallway last night, not 25 years ago. Henderson rubbed the bridge of his nose. You signed the packet when you moved in, he said. You saw the internal communication rules. The line about not engaging with unlisted units? I said. Yeah, I saw it. I thought that was about prank calls or someone hacking the intercom. It is not about hackers, he said quietly. If you receive a call from an unlisted extension, you do not answer. If a message is left, you do not listen to the entire thing. You delete it. Then why leave the phones connected at all? I asked. If there's a short somewhere between your new system and whatever's left of the old one, that's a safety hazard. He opened a drawer, pulled out a laminated floor plan, slid it across the desk. The 4th floor, Maple Court Apartments. 4A, 4C, 4D, 4E, 4F. No 4B. As far as all legal documents are concerned, he said, there is no 4B. The space was repurposed years ago. It's not on the plan, it doesn't exist. I looked up from the paper. But the phones still know it's there, I said. Why else would it show up? His gaze flicked to the small security monitor on his desk, showing the lobby and elevator feeds in gray, black and white. Mr. Reyes, he said, dropping his voice, sometimes old patterns in the building hang around longer than they should. Wiring, data, habits. We find it's best not to encourage them. You mean ignore them, I said. He didn't deny it. I suggest you unplug your handset for a while, he said. If anything important needs to reach you, we'll use your cell or slip a notice under your door. As I left, something on the wall of the lobby caught my eye. The 1999 fire inspection certificate for Maple Court, framed behind glass. At the bottom in blue ink, the inspector's name. Mark Davis. I followed his advice and yanked the phone from the jack. For 2 weeks, nothing happened. I answered emails, walked past my disconnected landline without thinking, and convinced myself it had all been a very specific, very detailed dream. Then my cell phone started ringing. It was a Sunday afternoon. I'd just come back from Dave's Market on Payne Avenue, juggling grocery bags and a six-pack, when my pocket buzzed. Unknown caller. I let it go to voicemail. No message. An hour later it rang again. Same unknown. Same refusal to leave a message. On the third try, annoyance beat caution. I swiped to answer as I kicked my apartment door shut. Hello? Static. That close, suffocating hiss again. Underneath it, the soft ding of an elevator arriving somewhere. Then a man's voice, clearer than it had ever been on the landline. Jennifer? He asked. Why aren't you picking up the apartment phone? You've got the wrong number, I said. This isn't Jennifer. Silence. Not static, an awful, intentional quiet. Who is this? He asked. My name is Daniel, I said before I could stop myself. I live in Maple Court. In 7F. He repeated it slowly, like committing it to memory. 7th floor, he said. They added more above us. Above us? Who are you? I asked. He didn't answer that. Instead he said, tell her I'm sorry. Tell her I thought I had time to run downstairs and cool off. Tell her I didn't know the smoke would move that fast. His voice broke on the last word. In the background, a smoke alarm shrieked, an older tone than the ones in our halls now. I heard coughing, glass shattering. Room 4B. Fire detected. Please evacuate immediately, an automatic voice droned behind him. You're remembering a night from 1999? I said, my hands shaking. You shouldn't be calling anybody. He laughed once, hoarse. You think this is memory? He whispered. The hallway's full of smoke right now. The door is hot. If she just picked up, I could've? A woman shouted his name on the line. The connection fractured into loud static, then cut. My phone screen went black. Across the room, my disconnected landline lit up. Not ringing, there was no sound. Just the dead handset and on its tiny screen, text glowing in impossible green. 4B listening. The words stayed just long enough for me to be sure I wasn't imagining it. Then the screen went blank. The jack was still hanging loose from the wall. The next morning, a fresh notice lay under every door on my floor. Dear resident, please do not use personal cell phones to answer or return calls related to internal building matters. Please ignore any calls or messages from unlisted numbers, including but not limited to unknown caller, 4B, or blank caller IDs. The situation is under control. Maple Court Management. Under control. That's what landlords always say when they've decided to live with a problem instead of fixing it. I started searching online that night. You can find anything if you dig long enough. A buried Cleveland Plain Dealer article from 1999 about minor apartment fire on Maple Court, 2 dead. A forgotten forum thread where someone mentioned, my aunt lived in that building. She said the phones used to ring by themselves afterwards. A TikTok from a girl in Toronto whose condo landline flashes Suite 1313 even though their tower officially skips the 13th floor. Different buildings, different years, same pattern. Management told us to ignore any calls from unlisted internal units. Scroll far enough and you start seeing comments from people in Madrid, Sao Paulo, Manila talking about ghost extensions, 3B102-7F, that still dial years after those rooms are supposedly gone. I'd love to tell you I moved out of Maple Court after that I cut my losses and found a place without history stitched into its wiring. But rent in Cleveland isn't cheap anymore. And Maple Court knows my name now. So I did the only thing that felt like control. I never plugged the landline back in. When management does their annual inspection, I connect it for 10 polite minutes, smile while they test the buzzer, then yank it out again as soon as they're gone. Still, sometimes late at night, my cell lights up with unknown for 1 second, and then stops on its own like something else answered first. Sometimes, on laundry day, I take the stairs to the 4th floor and walk slowly between 4A and 4C. There's a stretch of wall there that feels colder than the rest. If you knock, the sound doesn't bounce back right. It's deeper, like there's more space behind it than the blueprint says. Once, I swore I heard a TV through that wall, some old sitcom rerun, the laugh track too loud. Another time, when I leaned close, I thought I heard a phone ringing steadily on the other side. Not desperate. Patient. Waiting for someone to pick up who never will. If you've watched this far, here's the part where the urban legend stops being about one building in Cleveland, Ohio. Next time you visit an older apartment block, Boston, Berlin, Manila, Sao Paulo, doesn't matter. Look at the floor directory. Count the units. If the numbers jump, 2A, 2B, 2D, 2E, with no explanation. If there's a mailbox with no name that the super swears is just storage now. If your lease paperwork skips over one specific door, that's your 4B. And if one night your phone, landline, cell, office desk phone, it doesn't matter, lights up with a caller ID that matches that missing room, do yourself a favor. Don't answer. Don't listen. Don't give it your name. Because once a place knows it can still reach someone, it doesn't stop trying. All a deleted room needs is one living person willing to say, hello. If your skin is crawling even a little right now, like this video so more people see it before they get their own late night call. Drop your city and country in the comments. And tell us, have you ever lived in a building with a missing apartment number? Or a line on the floor plan that didn't match reality? The creepiest stories might become a future episode here on Trigger of Madness. Turn on notifications. You don't want to miss the next story, especially if it's calling from inside your building. Você quer que eu faça agora segundo arquivo Word so com as 12 parties plus OS 12 prompts de imagem lado a lado, como guia de storyboard?